All right, let's dive right in. We're going to tackle one of the biggest, maybe the biggest, question we can ever ask ourselves. Is there really a meaning to our life? And to get started, I want you to just look at a number. 2. Just the number 2. What do you think that represents? Well, it's the number of people who die every single second. By the time I finish this sentence, 2 more people will be gone. You know, some die from accidents, some from illness, others just peacefully in their sleep. But the end result, it's the same for everyone. This unavoidable fact is maybe the one single thing that truly connects every single one of us. So let's start there. Let's look at death not as this dark, morbid topic, but as a fundamental truth about being alive. It really is the great equalizer. I mean, think about it for a second. Death doesn't care how much money is in your bank account, right? It doesn't care about your social status, your job title, or where you come from. It is the one experience that unites every single living thing on this planet. Now, let's just zoom the camera way, way out. In 100 years, almost nobody listening to this will still be around. A completely new set of people will have taken our place. Fast forward another 100 years after that, and they'll be gone too. It's this constant, relentless, incredible cycle. And when you start thinking on that kind of massive timeline, it's pretty easy to feel kind of small, isn't it? And it forces us to ask a really difficult question. If we're all just temporary, does anything we do actually matter? You know, there's actually a formal name for this feeling. It's a philosophy called nihilism. And it's the belief that in the grand scheme of things, life is basically meaningless, that there's no objective purpose or value to any of it. That's a heavy thought, a really heavy thought. I mean, if we're just here to survive and reproduce, just like any other animal, then what makes being human any different? What is it that truly separates us? And this, right here, is the absolute game changer. Other organisms, they operate on instinct. But we have something else entirely. We have self-awareness. We can actually think about our own existence. And that ability is what drives us not just to find meaning, but to create it. So how do we do that? How do you create meaning out of nothing? Well, let's explore a practical framework that can help us do just that. And it's built on 4 universal truths. Okay, let's dive into this. The whole thing is built on 4 fundamental truths about how the universe works. If you can get your head around these, you don't just get an answer, you get the tools to build your own. The first truth is beautifully simple: cause and effect. Every single thing you do, every word you say, even every little thought you have, it creates a ripple. It has an effect. And yeah, you've heard this from physics class, but this idea goes so far beyond science. It's a fundamental law of life itself. What you put out into the world, good or bad, has a way of coming back around. And we often just dismiss the small stuff, but it all adds up. That one cigarette, it literally starts to rewire your brain. That one small positive choice you make every day, that's what builds real, lasting confidence. Your life, right this second, is the grand total of all your past actions. Okay, on to truth number 2. This is one we all know in our heads, but we rarely live like it's true. And it's this: nothing lasts forever. Everything changes. Now, this isn't meant to be depressing. It's actually the opposite. It's incredibly freeing. Your greatest successes won't last forever, but guess what? Neither will your worst failures. The only thing we truly have is this present moment, and that makes it incredibly precious. So if everything is temporary, where does all our pain and unhappiness come from? Well, truth number 3 gives us the answer. It comes from attachment. Here's the key connection. When we get emotionally attached to things that are, by their very nature, going to change or disappear, we're basically signing a contract for future unhappiness. Because when they inevitably do change, we suffer. It's as simple as that. And that brings us full circle, right back to where we began, to our final truth, the big one. The fact that one day, every single one of us is going to die. But now, we can see this in a completely different light. Instead of being this source of fear, Mortality is the ultimate motivator. It's a powerful reminder that our time is short, so why waste it on things that don't matter? It pushes us to live fully, right now, and it reminds us that on this brief journey, we're all in it together. So after going through these 4 truths, cause and effect, impermanence, attachment, and mortality, what's the final takeaway here? How do we answer that big original question? And here it is. This is the most important part of this whole explainer. The idea that there's some secret, universal meaning of life out there just waiting for you to find it, that's a trap. It's the wrong way to look at the problem. Meaning isn't found. It's built. You create it through your actions, both big and small. It's forged in how you choose to live in each one of these precious, temporary moments. It's the purpose that you decide to give yourself. So we're going to end not with an answer, but with a better question. The question was never, what is the meaning of life? The real question is, what meaning will you create? The power was never out there in the universe. It's been right here, inside you all along. So, what are you going to build with it?